Marvel made the most of their Super Bowl time by releasing a big game trailer for Thunderbolts. Featuring a needle drop of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship, the team of misfits gets a little bit more screen time, plus an ominous look at presumably Sentry, played by Lewis Pullman. With the May 2nd release date creeping closer and closer, do we expect to see a lot more Thunderbolts, or is Marvel done playing its hand for now?
If I had it my way, they would be done for now and they would, let the marketing material speak for itself. But knowing Marvel, in the months and weeks leading up to Thunderbolts, we're probably going to see a slew of TV spots that will likely give large portions of the movie away. So I will not be partaking in any more marketing material after this unless they do maybe one more trailer, and I might be at that point where I wait to hear what other people say about how much it gives away, and then I'll cross that bridge. But going into the Super Bowl, I believe we were under the impression that Marvel had purchased 2 spots, so it was a little surprising that we only got the one trailer. I certainly thought they were going to take advantage of the time and space to do something for Brave New World, but that didn't happen, so it was good to get something from Thunderbolts. I was a little wary that they might, potentially show too much, but I think this was a pretty much perfect trailer. It showed us some scenes and characters that we've already spent some time with, but they also really teased the threat. So I'll kind of, talk around that in case there's anybody, everybody that's listening to this has probably seen the trailer, right? We saw Sentry. We saw Lewis Pullman's Bob as Sentry, and I just got to say that was one of my favorite parts of the trailer, is getting to see his powers on display. It looks really dark and unsettling. It's like people instantly becoming shadows and kind of like leftist chalk marks on the ground. It's just very unique and so different from anything that we've seen before. So I'm pretty excited for that. The other piece of the marketing that's gone, alongside this trailer that I really love is the new poster. That's, references Alexi's line in the trailer about like, we'll be the heroes on a cereal box. And so they did everything around Wheaties. And I didn't have this theory until very recently, but I noticed that the slogan for Wheaties is the breakfast of champions, right? And I think a few weeks back, we were talking about a rumor that the Young Avengers might change their name to Champions. So I'm wondering, we've been talking about that asterisk for a long time. Is it that the Thunderbolts are actually going to be our champions?
Look at you, Scotty.
Mic drop. Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
I love the vibe of like the villain / anti-hero, but we're rising above that, but we're not really heroes. I think Yelena even says in the trailer, like, so we just all point and shoot, like we don't really have any powers at all. And I love that, though. I think there's a unique approach here, and it feels like we are being introduced to these heroes in another phase, or villains, I guess, in another phase. We haven't seen a lot of them for a very long time. They've been off doing different things. We have not checked in on them, and it seems like life has not been going great for most of them. I mean, Alexi looks completely out of sorts. John Walker has a kid, but clearly is focused a lot on his fall and was reading the article about how he basically fell apart in front of the entire world. We know Bucky seems to kind of be off in his own world and maybe gets recruited to pull this team together. And Ghost and Taskmaster, who knows? But at the end of the day, it is cool to see Avengers Tower again. We have not seen Avengers Tower. To have the Avengers referenced, like the opening line of the trailer is the Avengers are not coming, and it's up to someone else to curb this threat. Like, those references have been missing. We had Infinity War, we had Endgame, we had these big Marvel Avengers Tower, Avengers teams, all of that. And presumably Cap 4 will bring us back to that table again in some form or fashion. But to me, this feels like the first time that we're really kind of picking up in this post-Avengers world. I know we've done it in the TV spots. We've done it here and there, but this feels bigger, I guess, on some level, because you are bringing a lot of characters together. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to get an answer about Avengers Tower, and I hope we won't get any more marketing, like you said, Scotty, but I think we will. I think whenever March Madness happens and all those basketball games are going on, you're going to get slammed with Thunderbolts trailers. It's going to be constant, like every commercial break. So, yeah, I think we're definitely not done. I think we'll have probably one more. You'll probably see a lot more of Sentry in that trailer. You'll probably see a lot more of, like, plot details and things like that here and there to try to fill in the gaps. We know they're on some sort of mission, but you'll see a little bit more of solidification of like, hey, we're bringing this team together for this reason. Last thing that is just on my mind is Taskmaster. She gone. She's in all the marketing. She's in that first fight, and you never see her again. Like,
there is one other shot. There's one other shot of her in this, and it's like her without the mask on, like kind of like.
I do think there's a shot where it looks like her face is being like forced into some kind of like red light or almost laser or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that might be it. Yeah. I agree, though. Very likely gone, unfortunately. Or just doesn't join the team, possibly. That's another option, that she bails out or something. But my biggest takeaway from this trailer was the music. I love this song. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship is my jam from when I was a kid. The movie Mannequin, the song was a song from the movie Mannequin, and I watched that movie 50 times as a kid. For some reason, it really resonated with me, and I loved it. It was one of those tapes I just had and watched over and over, and this song was just like the epic theme from that movie, and it got me so hyped. I think this trailer has me more hyped than any other trailer for anything Marvel this year. I suddenly am more. Thunderbolts has been like, I've been excited for it, but it wasn't the most exciting of the year for me, and I think it is now. Like, I don't know why, but the vibe of this trailer, and a lot of it is carried by that song, and everyone having these just really poignant lines. When Yelena says, talking, I think about Lexi's speech or something, says like that was a good one, and you could tell she's got tears in her eyes, and like just like choking up a little bit. I'm just like, oh, like something about that song mixed with their experience of nothing's gonna stop us now. We can do it. Just that I love it. I love it so much. The real vibe of like there is something to overcome. There's a big obstacle in their way with Sentry. And a very powerful villain to face, and they are not a powerful team. But the idea of them, it's the Captain America ethos of like, we can do this all day. It's like nothing's gonna stop us now. I love it. It's a vibe. The trailer, more than anything, the vibe got me big time.
As the young ones say, this trailer ate and left no crumbs. This is my favorite Thunderbolts trailer we've seen, and they can't top it in terms of the needle drop, the editing. The editing of this trailer is top notch. It's like, I've watched it like 5 times, and it really, I told you guys before, like, it gets me hyped. It really does get me hyped up because like it's so good and it's cut together so well. Every meaningful beat is on a beat of the song, and it just really drives it home. So I say mad props to whoever they got to cut this one together, because they did, I think, a better job than the other ones, and I think it change the narrative of what we've seen in the other ones. Now, Sentry is a character with different sides to him, so that makes sense in a lot of ways, and we see a couple different sides. We see Bob, and then we see Sentry, and so that's interesting because that's going to be an aspect of the character to an extent. But I want to point out in our live chat, Mary Tico, I hope I said your name right, really wondering how they can defeat Sentry/Void due to his powers when they don't have any, and I think, to your point, Matt, like that's the big thrust of the film, is how do this group of, mercenaries basically at this point defeat somebody who's extremely overpowered. And of course it's going to be a, we have to do it together kind of thing. But it's going to be in this like dysfunctional way. And I'm really excited for Thunderbolts now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, a lot of good like Suicide Squad sort of feel to
don't
it.
You dare. Don't you dare.
Let me get there.
I'm just kidding.
The first one, not the second one. No, that's worse. But Haley, yeah, you said that the editing was really great, and I agree. And I think one of the great things about it too is the movie looks finished through the trailer, and Marvel has not always been in the camp of putting out trailers where the movie looks finished, and that can be to their detriment. So there have been multiple times where you get a trailer for a Marvel movie, it's early, it doesn't come out for a few months, and the conversation online is the CGI looks weird, the faces look weird, the costumes do this or whatever, the action is too blurry, whatever, and that kind of, and it turns around over time. Captain America, when we got our first look for Captain America, granted it got delayed, but that was the conversation, and that conversation has changed. The trailers have looked better as they've come out. Red Hulk's looked a little cleaner. It's kind of like looks like it's cleaned up a little bit. But that at the beginning, we were not necessarily saying that. So now to get these trailers back to back, to get Fantastic Four, looks clean, looks good. We weren't walking away saying what's going on with that. And then to have Thunderbolts, same thing. A lot less power type stuff. You've got a lot more action type stuff, so that probably helps. But that's very encouraging that we're walking away having this positive conversation. The conversation online is very positive. I do wonder, Marvel Studios in general, if we've got a rising tide lifts all boats with 3 movies coming out so quickly and close together, or if we've got a situation that could potentially maybe backfire a little bit whenever we look back at these box offices and we say, all right, well, we put out Captain America, and then a couple months later, right as soon as it left theaters, we put out another movie, and then as soon as that one left theaters, we put out another movie. That doesn't always work. And so it's a test for Marvel, I think. Back in the day, I think we would all say, well, of course, they're all just going to make $1 billion. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're steamrolling towards the next Avengers movie. Like, we need to do all this groundwork. Totally. Let's do it. All the content, totally fine. But I think we are in a different place. And so I do wonder, with Deadpool and Wolverine being our only Marvel movie last year, but also making $1 billion, I think it lends itself to that conversation of like, what conversation are we going to be having after Fantastic Four? And we look back at these box offices. Are we going to be saying, oh man, Marvel, they're killing it. They're back. They're raking in a lot of money. It seems to be like we're building something really solid in the lead to Avengers. Or are we going to look back and say, there kind of needed to be a little bit of space between these 3 movies?
It's going to be interesting because the strategy is like they've got a solo movie, sort of a solo movie. It's a solo headline movie, Captain America. You've got the team-up movie, Thunderbolts, and you've got a new entry, Fantastic Four.
Right.
I think you're going to see it grow.
Yeah.
That's my hope too. And thinking about, I think the first time that they released 2 movies within the same summer was actually one of the times that it worked the best for me, and that was when we had Age of Ultron and Ant-Man released the same summer in 2015. Mm-hmm. And the reason that worked is because Age of Ultron the stakes were so high, and it was so, so packed with characters. It was kind of refreshing to get something a little smaller, no pun intended, with Ant-Man. So hopefully we can have something similar that happen with Thunderbolts being a kind of, well, with Brave New World, that's kind of the expectation too. That'll be a little bit more grounded, but I think Thunderbolts even more so, with the exception of Sentry, what's happening with him there. And then we just go balls to the wall with multiversal stuff in a retro-futuristic, verse with Fantastic Four. I think the change in tone and palette could really work. But I am of the opinion that I do think they should space things out a little bit more. Like, it's sacrilege to say everybody wants Fantastic Four sooner rather than later, but I do think it would probably be wiser to maybe put it in November or something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think if you were redoing this calendar, I think it would work a lot better to put Captain America where we have it now, or March or whatever. Put Thunderbolts as your summer movie, maybe late May or June, to try to avoid like the Superman and Jurassic World of it all. And then put Fantastic Four November, early December, something like that. But this is the calendar we're rolling with, and so it'll be an interesting look on the other side whenever we look and see. But it is something to keep an eye on for sure.
I think there's something to be said for putting them together and feeling like Marvel's back. If they can have hit after hit in rapid succession and it feel like Marvel's really owning the conversation again, I think it could work to their benefit. I am pissed that they didn't do a Captain America trailer at the Super Bowl. They didn't run one at all, right? I know they didn't run a new one because that would have been.
I don't remember seeing one.
Yeah,
so.
I think that is such a missed opportunity. It's coming out Thursday. Like,
right.
I love this Thunderbolts trailer, but like, you have all these people's eyes. You have people that can look at their calendars or pull up their AMC app right in that moment and schedule it. And that's the time. People that see a Thunderbolts are like, oh, cool, that looks cool. But this is like call to action time. Like, get your seats now, for this weekend. And I think that it's a terrible thing to not have that trailer. I think it's a big vote of lack of confidence, honestly.
I don't think so. I think it's this is what my brain goes to, is this is more of a known quantity and Thunderbolts isn't. And so maybe pushing that film in front of a larger audience was the strategy.
Also, I think they did push Captain America a little bit during the championship games, like in the lead up to the Super Bowl, so
Right.
definitely not as big of an audience, totally.
Sure.
But there was in the run through the playoffs and the AFC and NFC championship games, I do remember a lot of Captain America looks during those games. So maybe that was the eggs that they put the basket in, was kind of the idea.
I think they're already moving on. You know,
like we're there.
That it's being left in the dust. I just think as a marketing strategy, they've moved on.
Right. No, I think so too. I think they're probably sticking to sort of a traditional rollout. They've done their big spins on trailers, and they're not planning to do a big spin around the Super Bowl. But I think a 30-second spot that said like "Get your tickets now this Thursday," couple badass shots of Sam, like would have gone a long way to getting butts in seats this week. And I think it's just really bummer that they didn't do it.
I think my idea was better, and Kevin Feige needs to call me. That was Sam being in New Orleans.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. For sure, yeah.
Well, we did have Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. That was
Woo!
kind of funny.
Sorry, I loved that so much.
Oh yeah, he gives everything to every role, including that one.
I saw a meme going around about him being it was a picture of him at the Super Bowl dressed as Uncle Sam and Sam Wilson's Captain America talking to each other, and he's like, I'm Captain America in this universe. Just like something like that.
It's
Very
your
funny.
uncle, Sam. Oh my God, that honestly plays in my brain. It's so good. I love it so much.
You just watched a clip from Multiverse News. If you liked it, go to our channel. We got a whole episode that it comes from. So go check that out and hit the like and subscribe. And we got lots of clips you'll enjoy, but also full hour-long episodes of Multiverse News with lots of things that don't even make it to clips. So check us out.
You stay clippy.